So what do you think of the Deadpool movie?
It was okay.
No, I really liked it, but
I liked it a lot.
I do have a couple of caveats though.
I do too, but overall, I thought it was a pretty phenomenal movie.
Oh, phenomenal!
It was a decently phenomenal movie.
The only movie I would describe as phenomenal is Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, and even then I
Okay.
wouldn't say phenomenal. I'd say more phenomenal.
It was more phenomenal.
No, Ryan Reynolds was really awesome, and he was probably the best part.
Oh
Obviously,
yeah,
perfect casting there.
perfect casting. He was the one that wanted this whole thing to go like from the
Right.
beginning.
And I liked it, and like it starts out with a joke like opening up, like it goes right into a joke with the credits. Essentially, you know, like they call the director a tool, and
Mhm.
the only person they give any credit to is the writers, like the real heroes here.
Yep.
I thought that was like awesome. People in the theater, a couple people didn't notice that they were doing that, and we're already laughing.
We're cracking up. I mean, the song. I think we started laughing right when the intro song started playing.
Which song was? Do you remember? It
I
was just
can't
like a sappy
remember.
love song.
It was.
I don't remember what it was, but it was awesome.
It fit for Valentine's Day.
You know, and actually, a lot of people joked with this, and because of the way that they were like pitching it and like the commercials, it actually was kind of a Valentine's Day movie.
It was. It was one of those not sappy, lovey stories.
No,
but
but it
was,
had a love story at the
yeah.
heart of it, which was
And-
awesome.
Yeah.
It was one of the high points of it.
It was one of those movies that you could take like a date to see. And it
yeah.
would be like a great movie to go see it for a date.
Which is why we went together.
I know.
Having Marina Backer in there as like a strong like female performance was really good. I didn't like and again like I guess spoilers for Deadpool, but towards the end when they started kind of just making her a damsel in distress. I mean, she was a strong damsel in distress, but they did just use her that way.
Her character just kind of changed to like that type of
a little
role.
drastically, yeah, exactly. The other thing was way too happy of an ending, in my opinion. That was one of the things I didn't like. What didn't you like about it?
Well, there's that like way too happy of an ending. I don't think they should have ended up together.
Yeah. I really thought it would have been funny when you pull out the mask, you're like, let's just be friends.
Yeah.
You know, it was not witty enough at the end there, you know. But she did have a good line there, as a face even I could sit on.
Yeah.
I thought that was a really good line.
Yeah.
And Ryan Reynolds top notch all the way through. I know a lot of it I'm sure was written, but I'm sure there was a good portion that was ad-libbed.
Yeah.
And even his delivery is so natural, you couldn't tell whether it was written or whether he came up with it, just because he is so much that character.
Oh yeah.
I mean, like X-Men Origins Wolverine, before they turned him into a weird monster thing. Yeah, he was one of the best parts of that film. And he was Wade Wilson, cutting bullets down. And the action, we'll talk about the action a little bit. There was so many cool fight scenes and set pieces. Not a lot that I didn't already see in the trailer, though.
That's the thing, is they showed a lot of their hand in the trailers for those action scenes.
Yeah, the jokes, there was a lot more jokes in the movie than there were. Like, normally, that's the problem, is there's too many jokes that got played out in the commercials. But in this, it was just the action.
Right.
We saw most of those fight scenes.
Except for, like, the ending fight scene.
Yes,
which was, by far, I think, one of the best.
Yeah, with Ajax, with the axes and everything. I liked it, but I felt... and this kind of segues into my next issue with it, I guess, was that they really seemed like they just tossed those two X-Men in there, Colossus and Negasonic Teenage Warhead, just to show, like, hey, look, he knows the X-Men.
He knows the X-Men, yeah.
Because while they had some cool moments in those fight scenes, Negasonic especially, they did just kind of seem like fluffer. Like, they were just like, oh yeah, by the way, X-Men are here.
Yep.
Although they did make the intro sequence there with the DMX playing. They made that pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I like the gag with the bag. How he kept forgetting his bullet bag. So overall, the jokes were awesome.
Dope.
We'll talk about the effects a little bit that kind of go hand in hand with the fight scene. What did you think of Colossus being a fully CGI character?
I thought they did a great job with it. I mean, there's obviously certain points where you could pretty easily tell that it was
but he
CGI,
looked good.
But he looked good. He looked like
he didn't seem out of place. Yeah. And we talked about it a little bit. This was definitely a more fun Colossus. Like, he was very comedic. Yeah. Actually, like a couple of times, I more noticed Deadpool being more CGI than Colossus. Negasonic's effects were amazing.
Yeah.
I thought she looked really cool. And the few times, she didn't use her powers a lot, but when she did, they were really sweet. And in the trailers, they definitely made it seem like they were a bigger part of it, and they really weren't. Maybe two scenes.
Which, I mean, I'm okay with.
Oh, yeah. This was Deadpool's story.
It was Deadpool's origin story, which is kind of why I give it a little bit of slack to why it misses some of the things that I wanted in it. Because it's like kind of like the origin story, whatever we might see come up next, might be more of what we're looking for.
Exactly. And while like they did do, I think, a good job of adapting the character for screen, I know there were a few things that we talked about from the comics that would be cool to slip in there. But like you had mentioned to me, is that they can't put everything like that in there because that'll scare away a more general audience.
Yeah.
And this is their first shot at a rated R movie, let alone a Deadpool movie, so they kind of had to give some leeway there.
Yeah.
And I understand that. I did miss that there weren't a lot of voices in his head.
Yeah. Which, yeah, that's one of the things I was thinking about, was that's something that they might develop over time.
Because he's going crazier.
He's going crazier from it.
That was another thing, is they didn't mention in like at all. Number one, you told me that they didn't mention that it was Weapon X at all.
No, they didn't.
With the workshop, did they just call it the workshop? Did they call it anything else? Or
I don't remember. But yeah, they didn't mention Weapon X. It just felt like, which I'm pretty sure there was the reasoning for not mentioning any of that or tying it too closely to the X-Men, is they don't necessarily know where they want to go with it.
Yeah, that makes sense. And where it fits into that timeline.
Exactly.
I mean, they mentioned it a couple times. Like he had a couple of cool fourth wall breaking jokes.
Yeah.
With the X-Men, it was interesting when they said they was going to take him to the school to talk to the professor. And he said, Stewart or McAvoy.
Yeah.
which was a really cool dig. But with him being crazy, I mean, I mentioned the voices that I would have liked to hear from. They didn't ever mention that he was going crazy because of the torture or because of the mutation.
No, in a way it felt like he was the same Wade Wilson he was before the actual experiment.
Yeah, he was just having more fun, I guess, as like a anti-hero, superhero. Yeah, they did not seem like it really changed his personality at all.
No.
But like you said, maybe they'll get to it as they go on. Maybe the second one will show him more crazy. We did get kind of, I guess, you can't call it a cameo, Easter egg of Deadpool vision at the end when he gets stabbed.
Yeah.
Because like it starts showing him, like he gets stabbed in the head, and it starts showing him hallucinate and seeing like cartoons playing on the screen,
yeah.
which is classic Deadpool vision. Even though that usually entails more cartoons and more boobs. He mentioned chimichangas once.
Yep.
Time to make the fucking chimichangas.
Yep. I was hoping for a little bit more.
I was hoping for a little bit more too. A lot of sex.
Yeah.
A lot of nudity. I did not expect that.
I didn't either.
A lot of people kept, we were talking about, we were surprised it was banned in China because the action wasn't that gratuitous, but the nudity, that might have had something to do with it.
Yeah.
And also this, you had said maybe they were not misinterpreting, they were afraid it would be misinterpreted as a superhero movie for a more general audience.
Yeah.
So like children would go see it or something. So that makes more sense to me.
Yeah.
Why they would ban it. Because at first I was really confused because it was action packed and it was gory, but not any worse than most like horror movies.
Horror movies or like action movies that are like a rated R.
Right, like Expendables.
Yeah.
Like, Expendables wasn't, banned in China, but with the culmination of everything, it makes more sense. And with the teaser at the end talking directly about Cable.
Yep.
They really want Cable. They did a full homage to Ferris Bueller's Day Off. I know you said that you would have hoped they did a little bit more with that. Like actual showing like a real stinger at the end rather than
at least I don't know. What I was hoping was for the end credit scene to tie more to the X-Men.
Right.
In a way. Or like just have Wolverine, like Hugh Jackman show up.
He was mentioned like 9 times in the film.
know he was, but like that, it's different in a way because those were like one-off like jokes.
Things. Right. Yeah, I was just like you were saying, like, it would have been cool. They could have used that moment.
Because like those jokes, like that can obviously happen. They're gonna make those jokes in Deadpool.
Right.
But for them to like show like a scene with like Wolverine or other X-Men makes me more excited because that's the potential for them to tie together more.
Right. And it seems like the reason why they picked Colossus, because he's already been recast once before.
Exactly.
And the reason why they picked Negasonic Teenage Warhead is because, no one knows who she is. So they could easily, if this wouldn't have done well, they could have easily played it off as,
just like,
this doesn't have anything to do with the X-Men.
Exactly.
Films. But since it did do well, and they mentioned, now Ryan Reynolds has come forward, they mentioned it in the movie. Several producers have talked about how they are greenlit for a sequel. They do want to do Cable, so that means the X-Force. So we'll get a more classic Deadpool story.
Yeah.
I think because that was his origin, was he came to kill the X-Force. He was hired as a mercenary. Was it to specifically take out Cable, or was it the whole X-Force?
From what I remember, I think it was just
I think it was Cable. Yeah, I mean I can't remember 100%. We might even be off. I know he was hired to kill somebody, and then he ended up fighting the X-Men or the X-Force rather. So we might get that storyline. I think, that's what I was hoping for with the Stinger, was that it would tie into more Apocalypse, because I still have that theory that Apocalypse is going to show a future where we see lots of different X-Men fighting Apocalypse, like in a post-apocalyptic world. That's where we're probably going to see Gambit's cameo.
Yep.
Maybe a Deadpool cameo.
Deadpool.
I think,
maybe Old Man Logan cameo.
I would love just to see him like with his hand, or maybe not Old Man Logan,
but like
the Apocalypse. Yeah, with like his hand cut off and some gray. But an Old Man Logan cameo would be sweet too, because that would tie into what we're gonna get from Wolverine 3.
Yeah.
So I mean, and overall, Deadpool was fun. We definitely laughed for the full. It was actually kind of long.
It was. We laughed more than anybody else in that theater.
And we were up front too, so we were the first ones to laugh, and everyone could hear us.
Well, because we were the first ones to see it in the theater.
Yeah, up front on a Sunday. Had to wait 3 days to get in, but it was worth it.
Yeah.
I like overall, I had fun. I hope they do a little bit more with them. Dave actually mentioned really cool casting if they did start implementing his either more Deadpool voices, or if they introduced Headpool at all. Dane Cook is one of the voices, or as Headpool.
Oh, I forgot he mentioned that. Yeah, that would be hilarious.
That was awesome casting. Who do you want for Cable?
I don't know.
I have two things that I really want cast. So, for his head, I want Morgan Freeman to be one of the voices, or Patrick Stewart to be like the really proper one that's written in white text. And I don't know who I'd want for the yellow, the more classic Deadpool. Probably just like a different, like Ryan Reynolds version. Just like in Voices. Have you seen that Ryan Reynolds movie? Where like he talks to himself and he kind of goes crazy.
Yeah.
Like I would have liked a more deliberate version of that. But the other casting I would really like for Cable, a lot of people talk about John Hamm. I think he'd be really good.
But I don't think he'd do it.
He doesn't want to do any superhero movies. He's been very adamant about that. The internet's talking about Scott Lang. The military dude from Avatar.
Yeah.
He looks the part, but he's kind of old. I mean, no offense to Scott Lang. He also would have been a really good Deathstroke, in my opinion. I think he would be really good like that. Which is funny if he does get cast as Cable, me saying that, because, Deadpool's based off Deathstroke.
Yeah.
I don't know. Who would you want to see as Cable? Do you know?
I don't know.
No?
I haven't thought a whole lot about it, but...
Full twist, Rick Moranis.
Yeah, Rick.
He's buffed out Rick Moranis.
He has to do Spaceballs 2 first.
I wonder if he's going to come out of retirement for that. Who knows? But that's what we think of Deadpool. Let us know what you think in the comments below. Yeah. Who do you want to see cast as Cable? Headpool? Just tweet at Dane Cook for fun. Everyone forgets about him. He's hilarious. Thanks.